The inspiration for a new filtration system came here at the California coast. The realization that natural filtration is a dynamic process became crystal clear as I watched the waves roll onto the shore. I knew I could build a system that was more efficient and more dynamic, like the ocean. As the waves come crashing in and tumble and create tremendous amount of bubbles, those bubbles allow for amphipathic molecules to become incorporated in their surfaces. Amphipathic molecules are things like proteins and waste that you want to get rid of. They rise to the surface and come crashing into the shore, where they are allowed to sink down into the sand, where both micro and macro organisms are allowed to chew that up. Plant life and macroalgae are also an important part of cleaning the ocean or filtration of the ocean. They don't live in static environments, but rather an environment that is constantly rising and falling just off the coast. This allows them to operate in the most effective way in cleaning the ocean. Waves also cyclically change the water level in tidal areas. As the waves come in and drop back out, the water level is constantly changing. This allows for a myriad of microenvironments for bacteria to grow on. This bacteria then can break down toxics into non-toxic forms, better filtrating the ocean, creating a true wet-dry filtration system. The driving force behind the whole siphon filter is the siphon tube. It makes use of that gravitational energy to drive all the systems within the tank. In this particular instance, we're going to talk about the buffering tubes. These are two-pass buffering tubes. That is, the water will come through once and then rinse back through the buffering tubes. And it does so with some head pressure. And it also has the added function of having plenty of aeration when you're running them through the buffering tubes. As you can see, once we get to the top of the coral here, which is there for illustration purposes, you'll see a head pressure or lagging pressure as the water level rises. And there's the head pressure that you see. It'll reach the top of the siphon and then discharge. So the point of this is to use the gravitational energy of the water to make a very, very efficient, in fact, a free system in running your buffering tubes. These are incredibly easy to change out. All you have to do is slide the cap over, take your buffering tube, dump it out if it's spent, add more buffering media, and simply place it back into the system. This middle portion of the basin chamber is one of my favorite features of this whole system. It's very interesting because it has so many functions. As the siphon discharges, which it's doing right now, you create a tremendous amount of surface area, which is exactly what you see as the waves come crashing in. And those bubbles are tremendously important. What they do is they allow for amphipathic molecules to get incorporated into that bubble surface interface. And then it drives the surface of the chamber over into the protein skimmer. And this is a very, very important function. Those bubbles rise, they get driven over, and they preload your protein skimmer. This makes your protein skimmer much more effective at what it needs to do. We really haven't changed the protein skimmer at all. What we've done is change the environment in which it operates in, which really makes it much more effective. And it does so without changing the height of the protein skimmer or changing the effectiveness of how well your protein skimmer works.